Yeah, they can hear you now.
Um,
Yes, sir. We're live. Do I have all the same lights on?
how do I sound?
You sound fine to me. But did you have
All
the
right,
right
good.
input and whatnot?
Now I do.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure again. EJ's basketball parlay that he gave during the pod last week hit.
Yeah.
EJ, you got to give us some like straight games and spreads though, because us sad, poor Floridians can't take those props as much as you guys can. Went
Yeah,
0-13 on
when you
parlays
lose.
yesterday though, as expected. Yep, that's the name of the game. Mr. Wolfson, what's good? Lee, what's good? What is good? Beedick, are you hanging in the background for now? Are you hopping on for a minute?
You want to come up front?
Yeah. I was
What's
gonna
he doing?
say I've only got one today, so if EJ maybe wants to come on today or one of these days and give some picks,
Oh,
we can.
he's
do that.
coming on soon. I saw he was in NOLA partying this week, I think for Halloween. Romy, what's good?
As soon as
Bro.
I have a bad day, we'll get him on here. It just hasn't happened
that's
yet.
never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen. We're too good. What was last week? Was it 2-0?
2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
2-1.
We're 10-5 on the year, so it's like
Man,
crazy.
not too shabby. Nick, how'd you do last? I mean, we'll get into it on the pod. What were your picks
Horrible.
again? I forgot. Yeah,
It
you're
was
dead.
it was a teaser. I had KC.
Oh yeah, you had KC. That's what lost it.
But I think there was also a teaser. But
KC
I
and
think
Philly.
Right.
Yeah, look at.
We should do a records update.
We
check.
need to.
Yeah,
we need to.
That was a
I
big
will do
thing.
it.
One,
Okay.
like, we're gonna track it this year. Nick can't claim he's over 500, but I bet
Nick's
you are over. Yeah, I bet you are.
It's getting close after last week though, with that horrible.
I bet
last
Nick
week.
is. I bet Nick is dead 500 or maybe a game above, and I am
I think
probably a game below or a game above.
Yeah,
I think sounds about right.
So
all right, I had the over. I had the over in the Texans Carolina game, and they scored. The high score was 15, and I had the under in Rams Dallas. Like they scored 1 million. Dallas had 1 million points, and then I had Philly KC teaser, and that just was dead.
Yeah, so you were 0-3. I was 1-1-1. Should have been better.
Together though, we're like hitting 65%.
I think so.
Oh my! Put it this way: if you've listened to the pod this year, you probably don't have to work. You're probably rich. you're probably well off. However you want to put it. All right, Beedick. We will see you in 20 minutes.
Yep. Whenever you need me, I'm ready.
All right, beautiful. Let me get my stuff in front of me right now.
I want to.
Nick, give me 30 seconds, and we'll hit this.
And I want a mother freaking.
Oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna have to do it. You benched CeeDee Lamb last week just for him to ball out. Yeah, that's never a smart thing to do.
Yeah, it's tough.
All right.
I think CD has a good week this week too.
I like slowed down a little bit this week, but I was just on an epic streak.
Word.
I think I'm up like $5,000 the last 2 weeks.
Damn, that's what's up.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to bet the Cardinals again. It's just so gross, but I'm probably gonna have to do it.
I think the line moved back down. Might be thinking about. No, they play the Browns, right?
Yeah, it's 7.5. All right, let me get this up. You ready to go?
Let's hit it.
What week is it? Week 9. All right. Week 9, baby. We're here. Nick and Bean Pod 2023. Nick, how are you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. Would be feeling better if week 8 didn't go so horribly. Oh my God, what a week.
I was going to say, if you're feeling good despite not winning a bet for 2 weeks here, then I love to hear that.
No, I won a
Before we
bet
get
last
started,
week.
yeah, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Nobody knows. But before we get started, we have the CEO actually on the live stream right now of Diet Smoke, the greatest sponsor. I just saw my bank account. I don't know if yours hit, but the sponsorship dollars are flowing in. People are using the code Nick and Bean, E on the end, 20% off. We've got the CEO, Zachary Wolfson, in the chat right now. We appreciate you, brother. And obviously the best product. Nick's got to use it during the ad read. Let's see you hit it. It's a beautiful vape. It's the best vape in the game. Gummies, sodas, T-shirts. I mean, they've got everything. Delta 8, Delta 9, THC, CBD, a nice mixture, whatever you need. It's not light. It's just right. Code Nick and Bean, 20% off. Now, Nick, why don't you start? Because 2 weeks ago, you were coming off one of the all-time streaks of sports gambling. I think you were undefeated 2 or 3 weeks in a row. You couldn't miss. And it's a humbling game, it is, huh? Just when you think you can't miss, just when those square bets are hitting for you, things change. And so how you feeling? How's everything? How are the bets? Are you looking to rebound this week?
Looking to rebound this week. Last week was atrocious. It actually was so bad that it didn't end up hitting me emotionally. You know, sometimes you're just like, oh man, you're just like frustrated watching the TV and you're getting riled up. It was so bad, I didn't even feel it.
Gotcha. I feel you.
But,
How'd your fantasy teams do?
Also not good. I banked a win in your league, which is good. Lost, so I'm on like an L3 in the tattoo league. Thankfully, I'm not like anywhere near last place, but not looking good in that league. Maybe need to make a trade and shake things up. The 10-team league, and then my college league is another team that I had Jefferson on, so that one's looking about middle of the pack as well. But I lost this week in that league.
Got it.
How about you? How's your fantasy team looking?
Before that, I see in the comments Lee bench CD for George Pickens. Just like Beedick saying here, start your studs. You know, CD was a little bit down, but you can't bench CD Lamb no matter what. That you got to start the guy. He's a bona fide number 1, top 10 fantasy receiver. So start your studs is true. Nick, 3:29 p.m., October 29th. Okay. That was this past Sunday. All right. This was a timestamp I wrote down because I don't know if it gets better than how I was feeling at 3:29 p.m. on Sunday. I just don't know if life gets any better. Now, take out my wife and my 2 kids. I don't know if life gets better than how I was feeling at that time. Winning all my bets, winning every fantasy matchup. I was 5-1 again. I've got 3 8-0 teams in 3, and they are 3 of my 4 most important leagues. It's not some throwaway leagues. 3 8-0 teams clinched the playoffs in one of them. I mean, I saw the little X next to my name. I'm like, what does that mean? How can you clinch the playoffs in week 8? But I'm staying humble because I know it's a humbling game. But I you know, you got to take in those moments when you're feeling that good. And I just timestamped that. I'm like, maybe it does. I don't know if it gets better. Maybe it does if you win some championships. But just an incredible feeling. I went 1-1-1 in my bets. I had a great cover with the Cardinals. The Redskins Commanders football team was leading the entire game, it felt like, and they somehow pushed. And then Jimmy Garoppolo sucks, and we lost Monday night. Still a great week overall for me. Let's get into impact players. Now, this guy is on a bye this week, heavily owned by me in fantasy. Travis Etienne, what a season he's having. 79 rushing, 70 receiving, 150 total, plus a big receiving touchdown. He's 3rd in the league in rushing, and the Jags are on a roll.
Yeah, so he's looked really good this year. He's finally looking kind of like that player that he was in college. We were thinking that maybe the size would be a thing, but he seemed to handling the NFL size just fine, and he's coming into his own.
Yeah, you know, and injury was definitely a concern coming in, size and just his history, the way he runs, but he looks a little stocky. He's great in pass block. He's great running the ball, obviously great out of the backfield. The Jags have won 5 in a row, and they are 6-2, tied with the Chiefs, tied with the Dolphins, and I believe tied with the Ravens as well.
I think they're the hottest team in football right now. The Jags. I
Sounds
think
about
they're on
right.
the longest win streak.
5 in a row. I don't know anyone else doing that.
Yeah.
So great game from the Jags. Great game from ETN. Let's talk about a rookie. And I mean, there's no way we could have left this guy off. 4 touchdown passes, 238 yards. Will Levis, Mr. Mayo in his coffee, Mr. Eating banana with the peel on. This weirdo. I mean, I don't know if he can even play quarterback, but he was just throwing the ball as far as he could, and Hopkins was going and getting it.
Yeah, I definitely don't trust Levis moving forward. That was way too hard. I mean, I think you gave us a little sneak peek pre-pod that you may have them involved in a bet. I don't know if I can bet Will Levis in a game, man.
Wait, you trust him or you don't trust him, you meant?
I don't trust him right now.
I can't just,
okay. Not to put my freaking hard-earned dollars on him.
I did not say I was going to bet them, though, so I don't know what you're talking about. Either way, 4 TDs, 3 for Hopkins. What a game. What an entertaining game. So shout out to him. Rod, what is happening, brother? Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. The next guy, God, I mean, one of the more polarizing names in the sport. You either think he's a franchise quarterback or you think he's dog shit. Dak Prescott. They absolutely crushed the Rams. Dak threw for over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. Sorry to Lee, 12 catches, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns for CeeDee Lamb. They absolutely dominated the Rams. And I didn't bet this game, but last week I remember both of us were like, hey, 6.5, 7 points is a lot.
Too much.
Yeah. And the Cowboys, though, it. Just like we said also, 5 minutes into the game, which way it's going. They're either going to blow the team out or they're probably going to lose a close game. So shout out to Dak. I wrote down in our notes, they're just like a bipolar team.
Right. I thought, so I'm thinking, we'll see. I'm thinking they sort of found their way, and they got Philly this week. I don't think Hurts is 100%. That's the divisional game. I don't like the way Mike McCarthy calls plays, but we got Dan Quinn on the defense, and then we've got Jalen Hurts not 100%. We've got a strong defensive line. We'll get into this matchup a little bit further along the line.
Yeah.
But did I hear you say that Will Levis drinks mayonnaise in his coffee? Did I hear that right?
Yeah. So like in the pre-draft thing, he's just a dead weirdo. And yeah, he puts mayonnaise like instead of like cream or milk in his coffee, which is just absolutely atrocious. And
is
then
it because he enjoys the flavor? Or is it like a keto diet, some weird thing?
No, it's just what he does. And then he eats the banana with the peel on. That's like 2 of his staples, he said. So clearly he's got a lot of deep-rooted issues. He should probably see a therapist or something.
He probably gets great fiber every day, though.
Way to see the positives. All right, to round up impact players, rookie running back, another rookie here. Finally getting his opportunity with David Montgomery, Mr. 3 yards a carry, who sucks, out. Jahmyr Gibbs, 26 carries, 152 yards, a touchdown. He added 5 catches for 37 yards. And I just wrote down again, I just think he's so much better than Monty. There was a couple plays there. And Monty maybe is necessary for the team to be that bruiser inside. They're a good combo. But there are a couple runs, like that touchdown run he had. Monty gets 3 yards on that play. He bounced that out to the outside and took it to the house. Really impressed by his performance. And shout out to Keese. He's in the building. He's checking in. Appreciate you coming on. Nick, you're bringing the people out today. I love it.
Yeah, shout out to Keese. He helped us out with the graphics. The show wouldn't look this great without him.
Oh, my man. This is the guy behind. The guy. Oh, my God. Go Nick and Bean, Diet Smoke.
But yeah, so Jahmyr Gibbs, like you said, looks way more athletic and way more what do you want to call it, home run of a player than David Montgomery. There are memes all over the internet of, oh my goodness, Dan Campbell discovered his 12th pick in the draft is good.
Yeah, I know, right? And I think what you meant was like he's actually got the ability to hit that home run play where he can take the ball to the house, unlike Monty. So, big game from them, big win. All right, that's enough of last week. We've got probably 2 of the best games of the regular season this week. All right, let's start over the pond in Europe. Our Miami Dolphins are facing the Kansas City Chiefs. Dolphins, Chiefs. Chiefs are -2.5. The over-under is 50.5. Let me double check those, but give me your thoughts on our team. Biggest game, Tyreek, revenge game. I mean, there's so many layers to this. What are your thoughts on this game?
It's going to be probably one of the best games this week. There's a lot of like the lineup this week looks like studs and duds. If you look at the matchups, there's like 2 or 3 really good matchups that I want to watch. And then the rest of the games are like poop down your pants. It's like a quarterback that got undrafted, came from freaking Wyoming State, and you know what I mean? Came from like Broward Community College, and he's now starting in the NFL. Is the type of games that we have going on this week.
Solid school. Let's not hate on Broward College.
Shout out BC. But so yeah, the game deserves that standalone spot. It's going to be early. It's up in Frankfurt. The Dolphins are already there. I would have to double check if the Chiefs are there yet, but I know
the Chiefs land, I think, right, like they're landing now.
Too slow, too late. So slow feet don't eat. In a lot of these European games, the team that's gone over early has gotten the big advantage, like we saw in the Jags earlier this year. The thing is, KC has a good defense number. I think they're top 5 in the league or around there. Miami stats don't put us up that high, but remember, we're getting a lot of defensive backs coming back. We got Ramsey came back last week. So I think the Dolphins are going to look good moving forward. Not sure about this week because the Dolphins have yet to have that marquee win. We went up against Philly at night. We lost. We've had a bunch of opportunities to have these step up games where you're like, okay, this is the real deal competition. How are you going to play? And we haven't really stepped up. So we'll see how it looks this week. Interested.
Couldn't agree more. So yeah, it opened at 2.5. KC -2.5. It got bet down to -1. Now it is actually back to -2. It's not -2.5. So it's a solid 2 right now. It's a tough game. Yeah, I see you wrote here that KC is like top 2 or 3 passing defenses. They have been really solid overall. Let's see if they can handle our offense. But guess what? Yeah. We're going to score some points on this team. I really think it's going to come down to our defensive line and how they can play. We've got Christian Wilkins. Bradley Chubb had his best game of not the year, ever since we traded for a first-round pick for him. He had his best game against the Patriots last week. Jalen Phillips is a rising star. We've got Jalen Ramsey back. A lot of people, there's some murmurs that they're going to put him on Kelsey. Maybe that can slow him down. I mean, you're never going to stop Kelsey, though. And then
I think they used to put him on Kelsey.
Yeah, probably. And then
to put him on him.
Yeah, not surprising. And then I don't know if Xavier Howard is playing, but that would be nice as well. It's a big game for us. We have to play well. Obviously, it's not a must win or anything, but we have to play well against one of these big teams because Buffalo beat our faces in and Philly really dominated us. We won't mention that we had 12 penalties. Philly had 0. We don't need to mention that. We lost that game. No 100%. Excuses. But we got to play well this week. I'm excited. 9:30 on the East. And guess what? It's daylight savings. Remember, we're gonna get an extra hour as well. Is it we fall back, right? Is it fall back?
Fall back, spring forward. But question for the folks and for Bean, I guess. Didn't Florida ban the whole daylight saving time starting 2024 or something like that? Maybe Beedick knows.
Yeah, maybe next year, but it's definitely still on this year. Romy, I like your attitude, brother. We just have to slow them down. He says Miami might take this game. I love that. God, it would be a huge win. I'm pumped for this game. Daylight savings definitely on this year. It might be off next year. I'm not 100% on that. Yeah, Keith says that's a tough game. I mean, it's such a toss-up. That's why the line is lingering right at that -2. Chiefs are always a very public team, so I'm not surprised that they're getting the extra point or two. But this game's really a pick 'em. All right, next game. And I'm going to go to the third one on our list because we have it kind of in the wrong order. But Cowboys-Eagles. And you alluded to this game earlier a little bit. And Philadelphia is -3. The over-under is 46. I'm going to double-check that line again. I always like doing this double-check because these lines are moving so much. And go ahead, Nick. Tell me what you think about this game.
Yeah, so we got a divisional matchup. Both these teams are very familiar with each other. We've got Philly, who is a juggernaut. They are top 7 in the NFL in offense. The Cowboys have not looked good throughout the beginning of the season, but last week they showed you that they can turn it up. I do think they continue on that path, and I think they actually are live to win this game, even though they're a +3 underdog.
Yeah, so it is still -3. The over-under is 47. So I'm going to push back on a little bit of what you said because they were really good the first couple games of the season. I mean, they were being talked about as a juggernaut. I think they beat New York like 43-0, whatever it was. And then remember, they blew that game to Arizona as 13
And everyone was
favorites.
like, nah.
And then San Fran absolutely annihilated them on Sunday Night Football. It was absolutely embarrassing. And that was when I said that's when I said I'd never bet on the Cowboys again. Again, if I was going to lean on this game, I would be on the Cowboys. I am not going to bet them because I've promised myself I won't bet them. But this is going to be such a good game. You said Jalen Hurts is not 100%. He's still playing well, but he does look a little hobbled. I see that. Obviously, Cowboys are still missing Trayvon Diggs, but that defensive line really, really is incredible. I mean, they play so well. The offensive line for the Cowboys is the key for them to win this game because Jalen Carter and Jordan Phillips and, all these guys, they're just taking over games. And if the Cowboys can give Dak a little bit of time, they have a chance to win this game. But it's a big if because that defensive line for Philly is dominant. So it's going to be obviously Chiefs, Dolphins, Cowboys, Eagles. These are the two best games of the week by a mile.
Yeah, so that's part of why I think the Cowboys have that chance is because of the strength on strength, like against the 49ers with all that speed, they couldn't really match up. I don't think Philly really has it like that. They have Devontae Smith that flies. But one thing that I do also think that's a problem for Philly is they are 26th. They're the sixth worst passing defense in the league. They're not going to be able to hold CeeDee Lamb. So I like his overs this week.
All right. I like that as well. And, okay, yeah, Beatix confirming that doesn't look like they did anything about daylight savings. I don't know where it went. I think I deleted it by accident, but there is actually another really good game, not counting the night games. Obviously, we're going to get to Bills-Bengals, which is another incredible game. But Seahawks-Ravens, somehow I think I deleted it, but that's 5-2 Seattle going to 6-2 Baltimore. Baltimore is -6. All right. They are -6. They've looked very good. I mean, they blew out the Lions. They didn't cover against Arizona, but they were never in doubt of losing that game. And the over-under for this game is 44. This is such a good game. I know a 6 is a lot, but Gus Edwards had the biggest game of his career probably last week. Lamar is playing flawless. Andrews is great. I mean, what are your thoughts on this game, Nick? I'm going to give a little more. This will be my pod pick, so I'm going to give a little more insight when we get there. But what are your thoughts on this game?
So my thoughts on this
hold
game.
on, Romy, I am with you, brother. This is he just typed in the chat exactly how I feel. Even if the Cowboys have the better team, I will never pick them again. That is exactly how I feel. Sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
Yeah. So which game? Oh yeah, Baltimore Seahawks. So the Baltimore Ravens are healthy. Like we've seen them with that offensive line clicking. Lamar has continued with the high passing rate, and I think that is great for that team. I think they're dangerous as hell. I don't think the Seahawks really stand a good chance. We'll see now. So they've had that young secondary and they've been performing really well. But we'll see against Baltimore, like if the teams that they've faced at this point were just middling teams or not. Because Baltimore is legit. Like no one can question that. They're top 3 in what are they top 3 in? They're top. I think this is an offensive stat. Sorry, I pulled up a stat and I don't know what I'm looking at. Okay, opponents passing yards per game. So they're shutting people down on the defense, and their offense is clicking.
Sounds good. All right. One more game before we get to the night game. We threw this one in there. It's a very, I wouldn't even call it a marquee matchup, but we had to put 5. We got to put 5 games in here. And this is what we will call the QB uncertainty game because it looks like Taylor Heineke is going to be starting for the Atlanta Falcons. They are -4 at home against the Minnesota Vikings, who are either going to have Jaron Hall or Josh Dobbs. They made the move for Dobbs at quarterback here. This game, and they're both 4-4. Like these teams, the Vikings look like they were dead. Obviously, if Kirk Cousins is playing in this game, it's probably a pick 'em. It's not -4. So, you feel for Kirk. What are your thoughts on this game? Are you leaning one side? Are you leaning, you have any thoughts on it? It's a tough game.
Who picked up Dobbs?
The Vikings will have
Okay.
Dobbs. I don't know if he's starting this week. He is
And
like an
isn't Heineke
aerospace.
starting over Falcons or something? Starting over Ritter
Yeah.
or something like that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heineke's starting. That's confirmed.
Yeah, so this is a game I'm not going to watch very much of. I think it's just, no, I'm not going to sit down and watch this. It's unfortunate that Kirk went down because regardless of who they were lining up, Kirk was eating up yards and he probably would have destroyed this Washington team. But it's too much uncertainty for me,
Atlanta.
like you said.
Yeah, Atlanta.
Or Atlanta, sorry. I
So
was thinking
here's my
Heineke,
thoughts on this. Here's my thoughts on this game. I love betting on Taylor Heineke when he's an underdog. I don't want to lay 4 points with Taylor Heineke as my quarterback. If he's getting 7 in Philadelphia like he used to with Washington, I absolutely love it, Or if he's getting, I can vividly remember it, 8.5 against the Buccaneers in the playoffs, I love it. There's certain times you bet Heineke. You don't bet him as a favorite. If you're betting one side on this game, you bet the Vikings, all right? I don't care who the quarterback is. It'll probably be Dobbs because he's an aerospace engineer who graduated with a 4.0 degree from Tennessee, and he's a genius, and he probably picked this playbook up in a half a second. So if you're going to bet a team, you bet Vikings, but you probably stay away from this game.
I agree. I actually agree.
Last game, Sunday night. I will say this before we get into this game. This is the DeMar Hamlin game, all right? This game should have been put at 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Do not put this game back in prime time, all right?
Why?
Obviously, we know week 17 last year, DeMar Hamlin died on the field and came back to life, all right? We do not need this game in prime time for them to talk about this nonstop, okay? We needed this game to happen at 1 o'clock where only a tenth of the nation is watching and they get through it unscathed and everyone's fine, okay? We do not need this game in prime time, but we have it in prime time. The Bengals are back. They look incredible. Yes. The Bills are the most polarizing team. Either Josh Allen's the best QB in the league or he throws 3 picks to the Jets. But this game, Cincinnati has, I'm going to check it again, but they've held 2.5 pretty much all week. It's been Cincy 2.5, which surprises me. But what it tells me is, it's actually -2 now. It's -2 now. It was 2.5 all week. It surprises me because before last week, I mean, people were like, oh, is Cincy back or do they suck? Is their season over? And now they're just favorites against the Bills. Give me your thoughts on this game, Nick.
Yes, well, hate to say it, but I saw it coming. All right, Bean. 2 weeks ago, during the pre-pod prep, I'm about to fire on Cincinnati to win the division. That was because they were finally getting healthy and looking at the schedule, looking forward. I was going to bet this game regardless, but now that with the Bills' injuries, it kind of locked that in for me. The Bills' secondary's beat up. Cincinnati has way too many weapons. Josh Allen isn't 100%. It looks like Burrow is, if he's not 100, he's like 99% healthy. So I like Cincinnati to win this one at home. It's going to be a good game, and I'm excited to watch.
All right. I'll have this in my pod picks as well. So let's move on. Those are the marquee matchups for the week. Let's bring in the guy. Let's bring in the prop god. Let's bring in Beedick right now. There he is.
Go, boys.
Florida Marlins hat as always. The jersey on as always. You already know what time it is. 10-5 on the season. I don't even know what that jersey is, but I love it. 10-5 on the season. 2-1 last week. I thought the Panda Bears. I thought you were 3-0 last week. I literally thought Myers cashed in the first half. I guess he didn't, but it doesn't matter about Myers. There's one name that matters besides Prop God, and it's Brandon fucking Aubrey, the greatest kicker in the history of the world, except for Justin Tucker. Obviously, he's in his own category, but I mean, there was never a doubt he was going to hit. I had people calling me, laughing, this is the easiest bet of all time. Is it too good to be true? I said, no, it's not too good to be true. We ride. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling great. And Brandon Aubrey, we always talk about what is the next jersey that Eric Bean is going to get. And my vote is Brandon Aubrey. First ever kicker jersey in the closet.
I love
hanging
it.
next to Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Dan Marino, Brandon Aubrey. Why not?
I
makes
am
sense.
strictly. I'll say this. Let's get it out of the way. I am strictly a pass catcher jersey wearer. So all my jerseys, I even have a Kelsey, a Michael Thomas, my guy back in the day. I do have a Tua jersey because obviously I need a Dolphins jersey. I don't even have a Marino jersey. My son has the Marino jersey. But I will say this: Brandon Aubrey is ticking up that list. If we keep winning these bets, I may have to buy one, even though I would despise wearing a kicker jersey.
Just buy it off the winnings.
Absolutely.
But maybe I want to use the winnings to, all right, talk to us.
Yeah.
We're getting out of hand here.
I was going to
let's
say
turn
this.
it.
No, Brandon Aubrey's not catching passes, but if they did throw him a 60-yard fade down the field, he would toe tap, drag that. I have no doubt. So
he would catch it.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
just for the listeners who missed, the week 3 podcast. This guy was a former MLS player sitting on his couch, and his wife, he and his wife were watching a football game, and his wife said, you could do that. And that is how he became an NFL kicker. Unbelievable.
He's basically our hero. That's the end of the story. So Aubrey hits, Butker hits, Meyer missed. Another great week, 10-5 on the year. What are you bringing to? We need winners. What are you bringing to us this week?
Yeah, okay, so let me just start with saying it is kind of a weird week. I'm with Nick, who mentioned this like studs and duds of games that we've got a few of these epic matchups: Chiefs, Dolphins, Eagles, Cowboys, Bengals, Bills, and unfortunately, all of the other matchups are duds. So One of our rules is that we don't really want to take kickers in what we think are competitive games. When teams have a chance to be behind, it means they may have to go for it a little bit more. So unfortunately, Harrison Butker, Brandon Aubrey, not going to be on the list today. I know. We're switching it up. And
Bean has left.
Bean has left the building. I know. We don't force it on Aubrey. We've never missed on him, and we don't force it. All right. And he'll be back next week, and Butker's going to be back next week, but we're staying away this week. It takes true discipline here. Okay. So let me give you the picks. All right. And the first one, who we've never bet on before, I would never dream of betting on, but we're betting on this week, is Dustin Hopkins, who is the Browns kicker, over 1.5 field goals made. The Browns are playing at home versus the Josh Dobbs-less Arizona Cardinals. All right, so we have a team that is supposed to be big favorites. Plenty of opportunities, and people don't know this, but Dustin Hopkins is the number 1 fantasy kicker right now. Okay.
What?
He's hit 15 of his last 16 field goal attempts, and he has hit our over 1.5 field goal prop 6 out of 7 times this year.
Impressive.
Okay? Yeah. So this is
I'm starting to forget about Aubrey a little and my sadness. Keep going.
Yeah, so why we haven't taken Dustin Hopkins is because they don't pass the good offense test in my mind. All right. I know you guys are a little bit higher on the Browns. For me, they have not passed that test. But with the matchup against the Cardinals, we think there's going to be enough opportunities to get them on our list.
All right. Dustin Hopkins over 1.5. I'm sure what's that paying out? Even money, minus 105, minus 110?
They're all close to that.
Yep.
Like, these aren't minus 130, minus 140 bets. Like, these are even money pick 'em bets. So,
Love it.
Number 2, I see Brendan in the chat, who's going to be pumped about this one.
Shout out, Brendan.
Shout out, Brendan. we're going Younghoe Koo over 1.5 field goals. All right. We all love this guy too. He is like a machine. He's like one of these Korean golfers, you know, that is, it's just automatic, right down the fairway. So he's let me tell you about Younghoe. The Falcons are playing at home against the Vikings, who just lost Kirk Cousins. Okay. This is another team we stay away from because they don't check that good offense box. The Falcons, they play slow, they run the ball, they have Desmond Ridder as their quarterback. But wait, they don't have Desmond Ridder as their quarterback. They have Taylor Heineke as their quarterback starting this week, which is why we feel comfortable getting him in our lineup. So,
yeah.
Let me give you a couple more stats here I wrote down. He's kicking 94% on the year. He's 16 for 17 on field goals. And he's hit the over 1.5 prop in 3 out of his last 4 games. So Younghoe Koo over 1.5 field goals. That is prop pick number 2. And that's my picks for the week.
Beautiful. So we've got Dustin Hopkins, Younghoe Koo, and in spirit, if you guys want to bet Brandon Aubrey, it's not technically a prop god pick, but he still walks the face of the earth, and he's a great guy, and he's won us a lot of money. So 10-5, 2-1 last week, 2-0 the week before. Best gambler alive. I'm not saying it. Some people are. So we appreciate you. Get your bets in before the world finds out. The podcast hits tomorrow and the lines get juiced, boys. You guys heard it first here. Beedick, we appreciate you, bro, and we'll keep seeing you. We got to keep bringing you on because we need you.
Appreciate you guys. Love coming on here.
Love you, brother.
Love you guys.
All right, Nick. It's our time to shine.
Yes, sir.
Prop God's incredible. We know he's incredible, but we've got to do this. We need you back in the winning circle. I'm going to give you my first pick right now. Seattle Seahawks, +6. +6. Too many points. The Ravens love to keep teams in the game. Ask Arizona last week. The Seahawks went to Cincinnati, another AFC North team. They kept it close. I think they keep it close again. I'm going to take the Seahawks and the points. I think everyone will be taking Baltimore. They're riding high. They'll be teased. They'll be put in every money line parlay. I'll take the Seattle Seahawks. I think Geno does enough to get that cover done. I don't think they'll win the game, but 6 points is almost a touchdown, and I think it's too many. I got to take it.
All right, cool. I feel you. I'm going to lead this off with Cincinnati -2 at home Sunday night against the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are hurting on the defense. They got Josh Allen, who's a polarizing player. Like you said, he's either here or there throwing touchdowns or he's throwing interceptions. Cincinnati's susceptible to the run, but I believe that the Buffalo defense is just too beat up to hang with the way Cincinnati's kind of rounding into form as we're speaking. So yeah, give me Cincinnati -2 at home. That's basically saying that they're a 0.5 point favorite. It's basically a pick 'em because that's a home game at -2.
Listen, everyone agrees with you, okay? And I can tell you that right now.
Do you have that?
72% of the money, 72% of the bets is on Cincy right now.
I'm dead.
So I am going. Nick had a bad pick last week, and glad I wasn't around to bet. Let's go this weekend, Nick. Yeah, Rome. He's going to bounce back, but maybe we can both hit here. I think since he's good, they're a good team. Buffalo's a good team as well.
Yep.
I am not picking Buffalo straight up. I am doing a teaser here. I am going to take Buffalo and the over, and I'm going to tease it. Let me get the updated number because this thing is moving on us. So I will take Buffalo,
and then like maybe 44 on total.
So I'm taking the Bills up to +8 and the over from 49.5 to 43.5. Okay. I think both of these offenses are going to be able to score. I think Cincy can easily win this game. I think it's a real toss-up, but I do think this game is a field goal or touchdown game. I think Josh Allen will move the ball. I think Burrow will look great in prime time. So hopefully we can both hit here. But my second pod pick is, and we're going against the money, which I love. I hate when everyone's public. And guess what? When these public games are like this, what happens on a night game is everyone loses their money Sunday at 1 and 4 o'clock, and these percentages go even crazier. They hammer down on the home favorites Sunday night. So I'll take the Bills up to +8, teased with the over down to 43.5, and I'll save my best bet for the end. You might want to stick around. What do you got?
So I usually don't like teasing sides and totals of the same game. It doesn't necessarily increase your chances. You happen to tease that down through a key number of 44. So, hey, we'll see how it goes.
I know I did.
So, all right, my next one is a teaser, getting back to our roots here. I've got the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns teased down. So against Arizona, the worst team in the world, who also traded away their quarterback.
Let's go, Mike. Bet on them Bills.
Who wasn't great to begin with. Yeah, come on, calm down. All right, who wasn't good to begin with. And then we got Baltimore, who is healthy. They're rounding into form, and I'm a little bit so. Told you 2 weeks ago I took Cincinnati to win the division. Baltimore's scaring me right now. They are playing fucking good. So they're -6, I believe, against the Seahawks. They're basically the best defense in the league, and their offense is scary. And they're going to test the hell out of that Seahawks defense, who hasn't really played that great of competition to this point. So give me Baltimore teased down to a pick 'em, and the other team is the Browns teased down to -2 so -7.5, but teased down to -1.5.
We are on opposite sides this week, and all our bets could hit together.
Hey,
they could, but I'm going to paint you a picture because I am riding with this team. They cover. That's what they do. Guess what? Josh Dobbs gone. You know where I'm going this week. It's the ugliest game on the card, and it's been working for me. This line is too low. It's too low, which makes me want to take it even more. Okay. The Arizona Cardinals are +7.5 in Cleveland, the game you just talked about. The Cleveland Browns have a quarterback who's a sex offender, who's completely healthy, who does not want to play football. Okay. I don't know what's wrong with this guy, but he's got issues. We know. All right.
Yeah.
This game, when you were in science class as a kid and they had that water fountain that was for your eyeballs instead of your mouth in case you got something in your eyes. Yeah. You're going to need one if you watch this game, because the Arizona Cardinals, 91% of the bets, 77% of the money are on Arizona. Are on Cleveland. Cleveland. What? Nick again, 3 weeks in a row now is taking the too good to be true teaser. And what do we know about these teasers? They never hit. Last weekend, Kansas City, your Philly one, you thought Philly was going to be the scare. They actually covered the teaser. And then Russell Wilson's bitch ass pissed on Patrick Mahomes.
I cannot believe that happened.
on them. All right. The week before that, what happened? I think it was the Eagles that blew your teaser. If it's too good to be true,
but it is 2 weeks before that, the chalky plays were good for 2 weeks in a row. The last 2 weeks, not so much.
They were, but this is what happens in the NFL. The chalk starts losing. Romeo, the sex offenders out. Yeah, that was crazy. I'm wilding right now. But what I love, my best bet of the week, Arizona Cardinals +7.5. They should be +12.5. But give me the +7.5. That's all I need. They'll probably win this game outright. That's my best bet of the week. Let's go.
All righty. So to review my bets, I took Cincinnati -2, and I took Baltimore Browns teaser. So Baltimore pick 'em, Browns -1.5.
Beautiful. I've got Seattle plus the points, Arizona plus the points, and a Buffalo in the over teaser for Sunday Night Football to enjoy that game. Nick, let's get on to fantasy. As we all know, I hate to beat a dead, whatever that saying is, beat a dead horse, or what is it?
I think it's beat a dead horse.
You know that saying?
Yeah,
beat a dead horse. Russell Wilson will not have another good game for a while, Rome says. He may never have a good game again in his entire life. All right. I actually think he's going to lose the job before he has a good game again. But fantasy, as we know, I talked about at the top of the show. I'm 8-0 in 3 leagues. I'm 6-2 in another. I'm 5-3 in another. Beat the dead horse. Thank you, Beedick. I don't know what's happening. I'm so hyped with that Arizona pick that I'm losing my mind. Nick, do you have questions for the Dean, or did you blow it again this week?
I got a couple questions for the Dean.
All right, hit me.
You're gonna
Oh,
love
and by
these
the
ones.
way, I'm 7-1 in FanDuel. Nick, I'm almost clinched for the season. Can you please win a fucking week so we can have some competition?
We're gonna try here. All right. So first question for the Dean is Sam Howell this week or Baker Mayfield?
Sam Howell or Baker Mayfield. You know what? I'll take Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
The only reason why I am all in on this Patriots defense this week, I picked them up in a couple leagues. I know they lost Judon and Christian Gonzalez a few weeks ago, but Belichick scooped up J.C. Jackson, who wasn't even playing for the Chargers. He looks like an All-Pro again. You know, the Dolphins, we scored 31 points on them. That was a fucking mission accomplished for them, okay, to hold us to 31 points. This defense is going to give Sam Howell absolute fits in New England. I think he turns the ball over multiple times. So give me Baker Mayfield.
Okay, interesting. My next one, because a lot of people talk about Sam Howell this week. My next one
Dead.
is Gus Edwards or Zach Moss.
Oh, I think you got to ride the Gus bus coming off 3 touchdowns. I think he had 18 carries. He said one of the most absolute pause moment quotes of the year. He said he wants them to give him a big load again this week. Pause. But you got to ride him. He wants the big load. You got to give him the big load.
Give him what he wants. And that wraps up questions for the Dean.
All right. FanDuel, 7-1.
Yeah.
Nick, why don't you give us yours?
All righty. Let me pull this up here. All righty. So I do believe the Cowboys play well this week against the Eagles secondary, particularly. I've got Dak in the quarterback slot, Saquon at the running back slot because Las Vegas sucks at run defense. And then I took Cam Akers because I needed a low salary guy as my second running back. Wide receivers, I've got CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave, and Demario Douglas. Everyone knows the situation in New England that the receivers went down, so Demario Douglas can get some burn. CeeDee Lamb, I stacked him with Dak Prescott. Yeah, Pop Douglas. CeeDee Lamb, I stacked him with Dak Prescott against the weak Philly secondary, and then Olave against the Chicago weak secondary. Then I went the jumbo package. I took Logan Thomas, who just gets a lot of touches on that team. TJ Hawkinson, I think he has a big week because last week he was one of those main targets for the quarterback. And the Baltimore Ravens defense, because I do think they hold it down against the Seattle Seahawks.
All right. Again, I'm 7-1, everyone. Just a reminder. We do have some overlap this week. I will start off by saying I actually have the jumbo package this week. I do not advise it. You've been doing terrible with it. You're not winning any weeks, so stop doing it. But I am doing it this week. All right. Gardner Minshew, value quarterback, 6,500 at Carolina. Carolina does play better at home, but give me Minshew for the absolute cheap. First overlap, Saquon Barkley, 8,600. Ankle's never going to be 100%, he said, but guess what? Coming off 36 carries, the guy is a monster. He's going to score on Las Vegas, most likely. Yeah. He'll have a big week. Next, love Ramondre Stevenson this week. 6,200. I thought he was a great value. I think he has his breakout game of the year. Give me Ramondre. Instead of CD, I'm going A.J. Brown. Let's keep the streak alive. 125 yards in 6 straight games. No one's ever done it before. He's a monster. Don't need to say any more. Second overlap, Chris Olave. If he's ever going to break out, it'll be this game. Zay Flowers, 6,100. Mark Andrews, the motherfucking beast in the tight end slot. And then give me my super flex package or whatever it is. David Njoku in the flex. He's coming off his biggest game of the year. His whole face was burned. What did he do when his whole face got burned? He caught 80 yards and a touchdown last week. And then the best stream defense of the week, in my opinion, the New England Patriots. They're only $3,700 on this. I love them in redraft any leagues also against Washington at home. Sam Howell, not technically a rookie. He's basically a rookie, and we know what Belichick does to rookies. So that is my squad. Minshew, Ramondre, Saquon, Olave, A.J. Brown, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, and Njoku in the Patriots defense.
Yeah, so I've got Dak, Saquon, Cam Akers, CD, Olave, Demario Douglas, Logan Thomas, TJ Hawkinson, and the Ravens defense.
Perfect timing. Game is about to kick off. We love you all. Thank you, everyone who came in the chat. Thank you, everyone who listens. We will see you next week. Nick?
Check us out. Peace.
Peace. Let's go.
Let's